Oh, this little biatch. If you're free to play and looking for some mages to beat Raid Part 4, this is the video for you. Because in this instance, I'm using only SRs for Phase 1 and Phase 2. Part 4 is much more valuable than Part 3 due to the rewards you get. So let me show you how it's done. If you end up liking this video, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell ding to give thanks so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. For free to play, Part 4 raid is what your goal is. Because from Part 1 to Part 3, the amount of rewards that it goes up is very minuscule. Part 4, it practically triples. The difficulty is a lot higher, and I'm going to show you an SR only 8-man team that will beat it. And here is the team that I beat it with. I did promote 6 of them to LR, and 2 of them are UR, which is Soul and Finral. This is with no food at all. And I'll show you the gear and the minor skill ups afterwards. So with this team, my main goal is to have a barrier, but I don't use that until like the second round that Noelle is up. So what I want to do is make sure to use the Asta and bond. This gives incapacitate and it also reduces speed. I feel like the first boss is actually the harder part because of the fortify. I did try to go no healer on this, however I did need a healer. The boss also gets a speed buff, which is why I brought Water Cammy or whatever her name is, Food Girl, Chef Girl, so I could remove that buff from the boss. My main goal is to try to get a defense buff and incapacitate up at the same time. This is kind of difficult because it's all or Asta's combined attack that will do this. And of course, didn't land defense break half the time, so that kind of sucked as well. But the main damage that comes from all of this is and his basic attack. His basic attack is what is the strongest single target attack for And I needed to win DPS. Yeah, there's some other SR characters that are better single target damage than but I already have built. But if gets like the extra special attacks from his basic, it hits very hard. Not as hard as another SR character on the next wave, but I'll show you that in a minute. So after 50% health, the boss does get the fortify buff, which makes it a little bit more extreme. But as long as you have barriers and a decent healer, the Chef Girl, she doesn't even have good magic attack on her, so her heals are kind of meh. But they did help slightly. I just make sure to have barrier up on at all times so he doesn't get stunned. Like here, everyone is stunned, but Yuno's not because he's got the barrier. That's the whole gimmick of this boss. It's fortify and then it's stun if you don't have a barrier. So from this point, I pretty much just make sure that I keep alive. I try to keep everybody else alive. However, it's not really a big deal. As long as stays alive, I'll be all right. I do want to prioritize Asta as the second survival unit because of the combined attack, the reduced speed, the incapacitate. Because if I can get the incapacitate from Asta's combined attack, I don't have to use ultimate and I can just focus on his basic attack. But I try to get defense down like I do here with incapacitate, but then you got to deal with the boss's speed and everything like that. So it can be difficult, but the barrier is one of the most important things in this fight. Make sure to have a Noelle or maybe a SSR Radies, something like that for a barrier. So the barrier keeps my team alive. That's why I like the healer. I don't even really need it. If I had somebody else that could remove a buff, then I probably wouldn't even bring Chef Girl. But she didn't really do much for me besides raising the SP of Noelle so she can get the barrier. Anytime I had that skill up with her, I did use it on Noelle for the SP buff. But anyway, shield again, and then I just try to knock it down. And you see, when you get the basic attack from and it's got the extra attacks, it does help. But I mean, the damage is not the greatest, okay? And plus, I don't have full LR gear on That's why the damage isn't like super great. But it's got some LR, some UR. But I'm out of stamina, so what are you gonna do, right? So it's coming down to near the end, but I mean, he's pretty much dead here. All we got to do is finish him off with Asta basic attack and GG. For the second wave, the second phase where it's fire and the burn. Sometimes you can get lucky and not have him do the AoE burn right off the bat, which coming up here, his first attack was just a regular AoE attack. Sometimes it's the burn AoE attack. But anyway, I'm using Finral here. I could use his speed buff here, but I instead used the attack buff on his second skill so I could buff up my guys, get some mobility. And here we go. Gauchi with his big, nice nukes. This SR is very strong. Yeah, I mean, his second skill, 32,000, pretty decent. I don't have any enhancements on him. He's not even max 100 yet. But here we go. This is the burn phase. That AoE attack hits like a champ, plus it leaves burns. That's kind of why I like to leave Finral's speed buff like second after the burn. But I'm just trying to lower the magic attack and fizzle attack with soul against the boss. And then now I use the speed buff. The boss has a speed reduced debuff already. So here's Gauchi's big hit, 95,000. From an SR, I'd say that's pretty good with mediocre gear. Doesn't have a lot of accessories on him, maybe one if that. And then he has some LR gear and some UR gear. So he's already down to half health. Luckily, this boss does not have Fortify. I'm just dwindling him down, make sure that my team stays alive. Really, all I'm worried about is keeping Gauchi alive at this point, right? I make sure to keep the attack buff up. Here's his basic attack, 24,000, decent. Here's the AoE attack from the boss. Almost knocked me down, but I do have a healer, and it's Fire Mimosa. She will keep Gauchi up with her second skill, and that's really all I'm worried about, is just keeping him alive for one more turn. And then his second skill, which I like a lot. I almost thought about using the combined attack to get the attack buff, but I really didn't need it. I did not need it. He was already pretty much dead. I could just nuke him down with the second skill, and GG, there you go. That's how you beat Raid 4 free to play as all SRs. Replace your SSRs in this team to replace any SR you want. I'm just giving you options. For free to play, limited stamina, it's hard to get the gear you want. Because he has high base magic attack, technically you want to build him magic attack with a lot of magic attack percentages in your substats. But I can't get that. So I got 3 pieces of LR gear on him, 4 pieces of UR. It's all attack or magic attack as the main stat. Tried to get as much crit rate in the substats or crit damage that I could, along with some magic attack percentages. I have most of his skill ups in his basic attack. I also did put some skill ups into his others as well. Gauchi, all I did for his skills is leveled up his special skill and 1 into his second. He's on 3 LR pieces of gear, 3 UR gear, and 1 SSR gear. You do want to build him more magic attack because he does have more base magic attack as well. Asta's just straight tank gear, all defense main stat, not even any sets. Almost 13,000 defense. Mimosa have some skill ups into her. Her gear is kind of like a mix between magic attack as the main stat and then some defense and defense. This is just completely free to play starter gear. Noelle, on the other hand, I have all skill ups into her barrier and her combined attack. 19,000 magic attack, that's kind of where I kind of prioritized. I wanted that barrier to be as high as possible, so pretty much everything here has a main stat of magic attack. If they can't get through my barrier, they don't need stats of survivability. I keep calling her Cammy, but it's Charmy. Chef girl. Her stats suck. I just gave her gear that I could. Soul is on a mix of defense gear as a main stat and then also some attack gear, because she can actually hit pretty decent. Again, newbie gear, newbie setup. And Finral here, I have him on a gimped out speed set, which is the worst speed set of the 2 in the game. Then I gave him a little bit more survivability with 2 HP gear and then 1 just to match out a set. That's it for today's video. Just wanted to showcase my full SR team beating stage 4 of the raid and to cancel out all the haters. If you end up liking this video, sub, like, ding ding bell. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!